So what's up people, and welcome to another Spy Family discussion video. Now this video won't be talking about another chapter, and in fact the next chapter, chapter 76, won't be coming out for another couple of days. What I wanted to talk about with this video was the very WTF moment that we saw at the end of chapter 75 when we see a very loving Melinda Desmond turn into her rendition of Mommy Dearest. And with that scene, it leaves the readers wondering what the heck is going on. And after I saw that, I started thinking, what the heck is going on with the Desmonds? What's up with the Desmonds? They're supposed to be the antagonistic entity for this particular story, and yet everything that we see focuses more on the dysfunctionality of the family rather than being a political opponent to Lloyd. And so what I wanted to do was make this video to go over at least some of the things that were already revealed with regards to Donovan Desmond and his family, and talk about some of the things that may be implied from what is already revealed. Now, right at the very beginning of the series, we find out that Donovan Desmond is the target of Operation Strix because he is allegedly trying to start a war between the East and the West, right? The country of Astania and the country of Westalis. But what we also find is that although he is considered to be the plot leader of this potential war, there seems to be enough questions where Operation Strix is made not to stop the plot, but to find out if that's really true. Agent Twilight is assigned not to take down Donovan Desmond, but to find out what is going on. So what it seems like is, as much as the West believes that there is something going on with Donovan Desmond and the party that he leads, they're not really sure completely what's going on. And that's why Operation Strix was created, and that is the reason why this entire spy family was created, so that it creates an opening to which Agent Twilight can infiltrate into the Desmond family. And so right from the very beginning, we are given information that Donovan Desmond is most likely the antagonist. But we are also given the information that because he is a recluse and is barely ever seen in the public, this operation has to be created to find out more information about him. So whatever happened, he does seem to be someone who is trying to stay away from the public limelight for whatever reason. And in the beginning, the only information we get is about his son, Damien. And what's interesting is, although in the beginning we think that Damien is a snotty brat, as the series keeps on going, we find out that he is actually a very decent boy. And it somewhat contrasts what you expect to see from a child of an antagonistic leader. And it makes you wonder what's going on. Now, what we also find as we keep on going is that Damien has an estranged relationship with his father, Donovan. And so they're not close at all. In fact, they are very distant. And it is the very reason that makes Damien extremely self-conscious. And because Anya can read Damien's mind, we learn a lot about his personal problems. And so now we find out that Donovan Desmond is a recluse. He is potentially the leader of the group that may cause a war. And he is distant from his son Damien. And so maybe this distance is creating a situation where Damien can turn out to be a decent kid despite his father being evil. But what was interesting is when we finally are introduced to Donovan Desmond, we get mixed messages. We find that he is very cold in some of the statements that he makes, such as the fact that he says blood relationships don't mean anything to him. His family might as well be strangers and they may not be trustworthy at all. But at the same time, there doesn't seem to be the usual tinge of evilness that comes. If anything, he is playing a poker face and we're not exactly sure what sort of persona he is. But because of the coldness that he shows to Damien, it does give a feeling that there may be some sort of antagonistic situation in his persona. But we're not quite sure. It's not enough to really tell what sort of person he is. And what's interesting is despite so many chapters that have come out, 75 of them in fact, we still are not sure. We do not have any clue that Donovan Desmond is potentially trying to create a plan to start a war. And so the story gives mixed messages with regards to this particular character, and it gets even more complicated when Melinda comes along because of that split personality persona. When we first meet Melinda, she seems to be a very friendly and very well put together person. But once the family starts being mentioned, you start seeing cracks in her persona. And what you find out in chapter 75 is that there is a tremendous amount of regret at the best and hate at the worst with regards to Damien and his existence to the family. Now, the other thing we also know is that Damien is not only estranged to his father, but there seems to be a distance between him and his brother Demetrius. And this may turn out to be some sort of jealousy. There may be a class difference because Demetrius has already earned the right to be an imperial scholar and Damien has not. We're not really sure, but there does seem to be this lack of empathy between them. And so is there something about Damien that is negative towards all of the other members in the family, including his mother, Melinda? What is creating this distance specifically to Damien? Now, the other information that we find within the chapters is that Donovan Desmond is the former Prime Minister of Astania. He is not the current Prime Minister. And that's very interesting. So he is a man of political power since he is still a leader of a specific party. However, he is not the person that is in power of the country at this time. And so the question that comes up is, was it a peaceful transfer of power? Or was there something with regards to him losing his position of being prime minister? Did something happen? And is that associated with Operation Strix? And is that the reason why he wants to create a war? And was there any connection between him losing power and his estrangement to both his wife and his son? And is that the reason why he is a recluse? Did something seriously happen to him that made him want to get away from the entire public? And if that's the case, is that a formula for somebody who is plotting to create a war? Maybe, because it may be a sheer grudge against not only the West, but potentially his own country as well. However, we also find from his discussion with Lloyd that he has lost trust and faith in people. And that is seen when he actually says that even blood relatives may actually be strangers, and people who you think are close to you may potentially betray you. So was he betrayed in the past, and because of that, did he lose power? And if he has become a recluse because of that, is it because of the fact that the oppression that was put on him to make him lose power made him go into hiding? And if so, is there another entity that is potentially creating oppression on Donovan Desmond? And is that the party that potentially may want to start a war? Why is Donovan Desmond such a recluse? And finally, what is this estrangement that happened between Donovan and Melinda? It may be something associated with Damien, because not only is there an animosity between Melinda and Damien, especially from Melinda to Damien, but the way she says it, she almost regrets Damien to have been born. So did something happen to the Desmonds that revolved around Damien? One possibility that of course will come up, that typically comes up in this sort of drama, is that maybe Damien is not Donovan's son, and maybe there was an affair that Melinda had which got put into the public, and because of that there was a scandal, and that created everything that made Donovan lose his power and created this situation. I'm not sure. It's just speculation. However, Tatsuya Endo doesn't create these things out of random reasons. There's probably a reason why Donovan is that way. There's probably a reason why he has a relationship like this to his wife and his younger son. And is that potentially connected to Operation Strix? Maybe. And maybe somebody in maybe his party is the one that's actually trying to create a war. But maybe they're trying to pin the blame on Donovan Desmond so that it kind of steers the focus away from the real central figure. We're not sure. The only thing I will say is Donovan Desmond, as we get to know him, does not feel like the standard persona that you see for an evil, stable entity that's very powerful and potentially can go to war. We see so many kinks in his armor that we're starting to wonder if he is more a victim than a perpetrator. It is really hard to say, and I'm not sure if Tatsuya Endo will give more information now, because he doesn't give it all at once. He gives it very piecemeal. And so probably as we learn more from Anya with her relationship with Damien, and potentially from yours relationship with Melinda, we might start learning more about Donovan. We probably will learn a little bit about Melinda's relationship with Damien, considering that that was left as such a cliffhanger in 75. It'll be interesting to find out what additional information we could find out from chapter 76. And once 76 comes out, I'll bring out another video. I hope you join me at that time. But in any case, what do you think about what's going on? What is the family dysfunctional relationship that's going on within the Desmonds? And how does it tie to Operation Strix? And what does that mean with regards to the mystery man, Donovan Desmond? Any comments that you can leave will be greatly appreciated. And yeah, let's continue to follow Spy Family and find out what the heck is going on. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. I'll make more videos in the future. I hope you join me at that time. And until then, happy manga reading. And as always, Jaya, nice day everyone.